The movie When a Stranger Calls is inspired by the real-life ordeal of 13-year-old babysitter Janett Christman and her mysterious death in 1950. The night of March 18th, 1950 was very stormy. Strong winds and rain battered the house where 13-year-old Janett Christman was babysitting a 3-year-old boy named Greg for a family friend in Columbia, Missouri. The house was a small one-story home on the outskirts of town. She often babysat for Romax and the Mullers families, but tonight she was at the Romax. She was meant to go to a party with friends, but decided to babysit instead that night, telling her friends that she needed the money to help pay off a new burgundy suit she had bought for the upcoming Easter holiday. She arrived at the house at 7:30, meeting with the parents who gave her instructions before leaving for their own party. Ed Romack showed Janett where the family's shotgun was and taught her how to load and fire the gun. He also instructed her to turn on the porch light before answering the door. As the night went on, so did the storm, plunging the temperature outside to below freezing. At 10:30 p.m., the local police station would receive a call of a young girl screaming hysterically, asking them to come quickly. But before she could identify herself, the line went dead. The police tried to trace the call, but because it was late in the evening, nobody was working the telephonic company's test board. Shortly after, the parents would call home to check on their son and Janett, but no one answered. They assumed that she must have fallen asleep already, so they went on partying for a few more hours. She was discovered by the parents when they returned home. They found Janett lying on a pool of blood on a shag carpet in the living room. Janett had been sexually assaulted and had multiple puncture wounds on her face that appeared to have been made by a mechanical pencil. Her face also had scars that looked like fingernail scratches. The cause of Janett's death was ruled as asphyxiation, and investigators found that an electric iron cord was used as a weapon for strangling that had been snipped with a pair of scissors and was bound tightly around her neck. The landline phone was found off the hook and laying only a few feet away on the floor. Greg was found unharmed upstairs in deep sleep. The local investigating department was immediately informed, and the whole matter was put under investigation. Blood smears and fingerprints were found in the kitchen and the living room of the house. There are no reports of forced entry, and it is possible that the killer had a key or entered through an unlocked door or window. The police found a broken window in the house, but it is unclear whether it was used by the killer to enter the house or if it was broken before the murder. It is also possible that the killer was already in the house when Janett arrived, hiding in a closet or another room until the parents left. 4 years earlier, on February 5th, 1946, 20-year-old Marilou Jenkins was also brutally killed in Columbia, Missouri, in a similar manner to Janett's murder. Marilou's killer was identified and sentenced to death via the gas chamber, but he recanted his confession a few hours before the execution. The Romack and Christman families believed that Robert Mueller, a man who had been convicted of raping a 5-year-old girl in the same neighborhood, was responsible for Janett's murder. Janett often babysat for the Muellers, and it is possible that Robert may have known that she would be babysitting for the Romacks that night. He had excused himself from the party. They were all together for 2 hours, claiming he had to attend to the doctor who was visiting his son. Mueller would take a lie test that did not give clear enough results to prove he did it, and the police had to release him. There were a few departments handling the case that were not cooperating with each other, which may hold some of the blame for the killer not being convicted. Mueller would soon leave town after joining the Air Force. He died at the age of 83. Janett Christman was the oldest daughter of Charles and Lula Christman, and had a younger sister named Rita Christman Smith, and a newborn sister, Cheryl Christman Botterf. Janett was a fun-loving, cheerful teenager who worked hard towards her goals. The killer was never identified, and the case remains unsolved to this day.